Hi, I'm Dr. Jason Barker with the Natural Athletes Clinic. Have you ever felt sick or nauseous during a long run or during a triathlon or some other endurance type of event? Well, if you have, you're not alone. This is a very common thing to have happen. And in this video, I'm going to go over the 4 main reasons why you might feel sick and nauseous and some tips to possibly prevent this in the future. So the first reason that we feel sick and nauseous during endurance events is because we have an imbalance between the hydration status and electrolyte balance within our guts. So we need a little bit of hydration and we need the right amount and the right balance of electrolytes in our gut for that digestion to work efficiently and smoothly. If these are out of balance, which is easy to have happen during endurance training or endurance exercise, our digestion won't be working as efficiently, and that can create those feelings of nausea and not feeling so well. Now, the second reason kind of stems from the first one, and that is due to too high of a concentration of carbohydrates in the gut. So a lot of those sports fuels that we consume, like gels and bars and sports drinks, are made at a certain carbohydrate concentration that is optimal for absorption. But if your digestion isn't working as efficiently as we want it to, and we continue to consume these fuels during that endurance event, that carbohydrate concentration is going to increase, which leads to that nausea and not feeling so hot. So think about how you feel kind of gross if you've had too many sweets or too many sugary drinks out on the course. That contributes to that nausea. And this is part of the reason why we have things like pretzels and real foods out on longer event courses, so that you can avoid that sticky sweet kind of nauseous feeling. Now, the third reason for nausea during endurance events is due to competition between different body parts. Now, when we're exercising, of course, all that oxygenated blood is going towards the heart and the lungs to keep the body moving, and also to those working muscles. That blood is being shunted away from the digestive organs, and therefore digestion doesn't happen as well or as efficiently, and it actually kind of shuts down to some extent because that blood's got to go elsewhere. Now, also coupled with this, you may be competing or out exercising in some really high heat, and of course, when it's hot outside, our body has one thing on its mind, and that is to cool off. So again, one way that we cool ourselves off is by shunting that blood flow away from the core of our body out to the surface, out to our skin, so we can radiate that heat off and cool down. So if you're out competing and it's hot out, you're fighting against your heart, your lungs, your working muscles, and your skin, and that blood is of course being moved away from the digestive system out to those areas, and that digestion is just not going to be working as well, and of course you're not going to feel so great when this happens. And now the fourth reason is less common, but it's due to pressure on the stomach. So when we're exercising, we're using those core muscles around our abdomen. And of course, we also have the diaphragm, which is a dome-shaped muscle that sits right below our lungs, and right beneath the diaphragm is the stomach. And it moves up and down like this when we're breathing heavily. And essentially, the diaphragm just beats on the stomach all day long as you're breathing heavily like that. And so that food or any fuel that's remaining in your gut is along for a bumpy ride. And of course, this contributes to nausea. And if you're somebody who's prone to reflux, or maybe you have GERD, which is gastroesophageal reflux disease, you're going to be more prone to kind of irping up some of that food contents or that fluid that's in your stomach, leading you to feel not so hot as well. Okay, so what are some things we can do to prevent that nausea during endurance events? Well, I've heard of people using peppermints. Of course, peppermint is a good anti-nausea remedy. Other people like ginger. Ginger is a very commonly used herb for nausea as well. They make ginger chews, so you can put that in your cheek and suck on it as soon as you start feeling nauseous. But really it comes down to keeping that digestion running as efficiently as possible. And you want to do that by keeping your body as cool as you can. So using a wet rag or something like a buff around your neck. There's a very important temperature sensor on the back of your neck, of course in your armpits and your groin as well. If you can stuff sponges there and keep yourself as wet and as cool as you can, that will lead to a better digestive process. And of course, it goes into making sure that you're hydrated, making sure that you're timing those nutrients as best as you can, which of course stems from all that practice you're doing before race day. But as you know, race day can often lead to a lot of different surprises in how our body functions, and that's usually because we've got a lot of those anxious stress hormones on board, things like epinephrine, also known as adrenaline, cortisol. All those hormones are never good for keeping that stomach settled and calm. You know this because you probably had an upset stomach when you've been stressed on a regular day. So that's why we often get these digestive surprises on race day. So making sure you're hydrated, making sure, of course, you're practicing all this stuff before the big day is going to allow you to experiment with different things that will help prevent that nausea. So I hope you learned something from this video and have a better understanding of why Your stomach may get upset. Of course, please share this video with any of your buddies who suffer from nausea all the time during endurance events. Remember to give this video a like, and of course, please subscribe to our channel.